Hey guys, this is Amanda. Thanks for hopping into my little den here. We're keeping it warm, we're keeping it cozy. As you can see, I'm doing readings with my little corgi Milo today. He just had surgery, so he is in his little hospitalization corner, and he is asking for a lot of attention. So if you see a snout, like, shove up into my elbow, that's what that is. So, this reading is for the new moon in Pisces coming up on March 10th in 2024. So I'm just going to get a general read with some tarot and oracle and see what we're getting into for you, Aries. So thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you, Spirit Team, Divine Masters in Heaven, for helping me channel healing energies for the highest good of our Aries collective. Tell me what's going on. As always, you have the power. Take what resonates, leave the rest. The channel energy to 12th communication Cancer. Okay, so the situation here, the situation you might be looking at for this new moon in Pisces, either around this area or for the next 2 weeks, you have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is taking charge. The Six of Wands is making your own decisions. I don't typically say at the beginning of my readings to check in with your own power and, make sure, take what resonates and leave the rest, because that's just like a very cliche line. If you've seen these tarot readings before, then you already know to do that. But this is just a reminder about stepping into your power. Sometimes things come out of my mouth when I'm channeling, and it's there for a reason. So especially when the Six of Wands comes out, make sure that you're checking in with yourself. The situation is that you are more in control than you think. Not so much in control of the whole situation and in control of others, but you are a leader, and it's almost like you're at the center of attention for this cycle. So people are watching you, people are watching what you do, and you may have some followers, or you may have some people who are looking to you for advice, or they're looking to you to be their leader. Even if they're not coming up to you and being upfront or transparent about it, you may have people who are giving you the side eye, like what they're watching you. They're like, what is this Aries person doing? How can I catch up to them? Or like, how can I learn from them? It's more of like they look to you and they think this is what's best for that situation. They know what to do. The challenge here, you have the challenge is the Empress. So this is crossed over the Six of Wands. And when that comes up, that usually tells me that there's some challenge. So it's so interesting because I just posted a message about this, like leading with your divine feminine. So if you haven't seen that, I encourage you to go check it out. But if you have seen it, then you know that this is kind of like where the challenge is present, where okay, why are you groaning? I'm right here. Relax. He's like, you need to pay attention to me. But basically the whole message in that divine feminine reading was how to lead with your divine feminine. In order to do that, you need to practice, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and putting up the appropriate boundaries. If you can't put up those appropriate boundaries, then you wouldn't really make for an effective leader. So that's pretty important. Spirit saying in particular, you need to be softer with yourself. The Empress can mean many different things, but what is being channeled right now in this current moment is that the challenge here is that you need to be a little bit more kind to yourself, a little bit gentle. And it's like I'm getting like a withdrawal, like a Four of Swords type of feeling. So withdraw, taking some time to either meditate or sit with your, just taking care of your body. And honestly, I don't want to throw out random practices out there, but the main point, or the main thing that you have to do is to withdraw. That way you can assess where your boundaries need to be in order to protect yourself and protect, basically keep the situation optimal is what Spirit is saying. What's coming up from within is the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands that's coming up from within, from the subconscious, is making plans. So you're drawing your own conclusions based on whatever is happening around you. And I feel like this is a very pragmatic, very logical energy. Even though we have the wands here, the two, it feels like you're very pragmatic. You're looking around and you're assessing the situation and you're making plans. So you're taking in accordance with like your dreams or like your goals. I don't see these as being like big grand visions or goals. They can be, but I see somebody who has a specific goal in mind, either in work or in some type of situation related to your goals and ambitions. And I see you like wanting to make plans or draw yourself towards that goal even more. So what's coming up from within is like making plans. It's almost like you're drawing out the marks. I see someone actually rolling out this long map, and then you're actually plotting where you're going to go. Some of you could actually be planning for travel, especially if it's in relation to work. That could be something. But a lot of you, I just see like as a symbol of like rolling out the map and picking and choosing like what your next moves are going to be, and being very logical and pragmatic about it. And there are ways, there are opportunities to get there. So if you feel a little stuck, if you feel like there for some of you, you might feel a little bit negative about it, like, oh my gosh, well, there's nowhere for me to go, there's no opportunity coming in. You could be feeling at this time like you would be feeling that internal, like it's coming up from within of, okay, but have hope. Have hope that can take logical steps, and then you're actively looking for those plot points on the map. And Spirit's like, to those of you who are feeling negative about it, feeling like there are no logical or pragmatic ways forward, to look for secret alcoves or secret caves on the map. So if you've ever played video games, you always have those secret little dungeons or secret little caves you can go into if you're ever playing those RPG games. There's always those secret little off-the-wall hideouts or something that has special treasure in it. And it's almost like those can be revealed to you, or those will be revealed to you. It might not be apparent, but you have to go looking for them. So it's almost like some of you might have to look a little bit harder for these opportunities, but there's that feeling of inspiration coming up from within of, but there are steps forward. I just have to find them. Okay? In the past position, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is laying the land, laying the foundation. For some of you, I feel that the symbol that's coming to mind is like a garden. So digging up your whole garden and then maybe starting from scratch. For some of you, it's almost like, I see it more of like you're going to a new plot of land. So I see a new plot of land or new territory, and you're going and you're spreading your ideas to other people. It's more coming like starting projects, starting ideas, like basically like planting the seed. You know how when you teach kids something at like a very young age, and even though they might not understand the concept, they say you're planting the seed so that they can understand and make those connections a lot better later. And that's kind of what I see this being. So like in the past, I feel this energy that the close past, like the last like few weeks, the last week or two, spreading the ideas, starting new projects, things like that, or at least that's where the energy is, like feels the strongest to me, like in the current past. Like the last week or two is where it feels like it's had the strongest impact of spreading ideas, spreading different things. The focus now is Ace of Cups, is fulfillment. So filling up your own cup, or the journey is worth it. Spirit's saying with this card, the journey is worth it. So focusing on what is worth it in the journey. So picking apart actually your plan, or picking apart the situation and saying, okay, well, what is giving me the most fulfillment in this? So I actually see for some of you, this is a legitimate project. This is like a physical project you're working on. But for some of you, it's just part of your journey. But I'm getting it's a specific situation, either in work or it's like a home project or something, but I'm getting like it's a project. The Ace of Cups tells me that your focus is on what is emotionally fulfilling. In the near future, you have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, spark of inspiration. I just heard like, let it light up your life. So it might not take you exactly where you think it's going to go. So especially when I see the Two of Wands here, the Two of Wands really is just the very, very start. The Fool, you would argue, is the start. But the Two of Wands, like you don't really know what to expect because you're in the planning stages and you don't know what to expect until you start it. The Three of Wands, you have a bit of direction. You have a bit of a plan. You can see the next few steps ahead of your journey maybe, but with the Page of Wands in your near future, it almost feels like this is like a new adventure. So when you take those next steps, I feel like anything can happen. Things can branch off. Like there are all good things. There are a lot of good things that I feel like are coming in with this. But whatever creation, whatever project, whatever ground you're standing on, expect it to grow in different ways. Okay? You, in this situation, the Eight of Cups. So the energy of you want to continue on your journey, but it's almost like you have to leave some things behind. The Eight of Cups always talks about leaving some things behind. There are certain things that are just sitting in your energy. And again, I can't help but feel like I'm revisiting the negativity for some of you, because I feel like there are some negative thought patterns or negative habits, or just something that you got to kick, like habits that you got to curb or something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there's some type of negative energy that you're like kind of like trying to be rid of, that you have to go, but it feels like a transitionary stage. It feels like a transitionary stage of, you know, I emotionally invested in this, or I use this as like, it feels like it's a coping mechanism of some sort, or if it was bred out of times of trouble. And now it's almost like, okay, well, I'm recognizing that this no longer serves me, and I'm recognizing that while this had helped me before, it's no longer helping me now, and I gotta kick it, I gotta boot it. So you also have justice. You have justice in your environment. Some of you could actually be working in the justice field. When justice is in your environment, it means that all is fair here. Again, the pragmatism that's coming into play. There's a lot of logic surrounding the situation. In your environment, there is a lot of, you know, what's fair. I just heard, like, what are you cooking up? What do you have to share? It feels like an exchange. Like, how does this help everybody else in the world? Or how does this help the people around you? And it's almost like people are thinking about that. People are thinking like, oh, this project, I see this helping many people, or I see this being like a fair exchange. So something in your environment where people are concerned about the fairness, and they actually feel like you, like they look to you as a leader because they feel you are fair, perhaps even more fair than the people who could actually be in charge, just if you're thinking about a work situation. But for also some of you, if this is like a home project, it does feel like they're like, whatever situation you're investing in, whatever project you're investing in, feels like an equal exchange of energy, being fair, balancing. It's like a balancing act type of deal where you're trying to make sure that you, whatever energy you're putting out, you are receiving the same in turn. So again, with that balance of emotional stability with the Ace of Cups, recognizing what is emotionally filling your cup. You have in your hopes and fears, you have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is conserving your energy. The Nine of Wands is boundaries and being cautious. So I hear that you're playing the field very carefully. So in your situation, you could be like not telling people your whole plan. If you are envisioning in this Two of Wands something huge and grand, maybe you're only giving the pragmatic choices to people, or the pragmatic steps to people, and you could be dreaming for the best, you could be dreaming big, and if you say that out loud, people might go, oh my gosh, that's like absolutely ridiculous, there's no way. But you need people to trust you, and you need people to be in your court, because these things are possible. And I do feel like there is a, oh, it's raining, ooh. No, it was just sudden, I was like, oh snap. But it does feel like it feels like there are other people involved with this Nine of Wands. If it's not other people, if it's a home project, if it's a personal project you're working on, again, this is guarding your energy and making sure that you're not giving out too much. Your outcome is the Tower. The Tower is a complete reconstructing. The Tower is actually good. I love the Tower because it is an agent of change. It is some type of catalyst that comes in and alters our path. It's gonna feel uncomfortable a little bit. It might feel a little unstable for some people. The Tower hits and it's like a whole spiritual awakening. It's a whole life shift. For other people, it is nothing more than a simple mindset shift that might be very uncomfortable at first, but once you release something, once you walk away with the Eight of Cups, there's a lot of relief that follows, and it's not as scary as you might have thought it was when you're trying to make this change, but ultimately it does work out. For your astrology dice, you have Mercury, Cancer, and the 12th house. Now, Mercury tells me it is communication. It's related to communication. Cancer is related to deep sensitivities, hurts, and feelings. And the 12th house is, it's the house of healing, and it's also the house of, like, darkness. So it's the healing, and it's also, like, the wallowing, the self-pity, the I call it like the depressive house, just because that's an energy that I'm very in tune with, because I've had to face something like that myself. But it's also great healing. And I feel like, for whatever reason, this energy feels like whatever placement you're coming in as, even if you have Aries somewhere else in your chart and it's not your main three, if you came to this message, that this energy that I am connecting with feels like you've mastered this duality, or you have a very good understanding of this 12th house energy, of understanding that sometimes you need to go through it. It's not even sometimes, like you usually, the best teachers are the ones that have gone through it themselves. You can't, Spirit has always told me in all of my sufferings, that you can't teach something unless you've suffered it yourself. If you expect to be a light in the dark, then you need to find your own way through the dark, if you're going to teach anybody else to do that. And that being said, it's almost like this does feel like a very feelings in association with thoughts, especially with Mercury, because Mercury is the voice, words, thoughts, beliefs, and the limitations that come with that, but also the expansion when we look at the other side of Mercury. Look to the other side of Mercury. Mercury has that duality too. All of the signs, all of the cards, they all have this duality because they have multiple meanings. And with Mercury Cancer in the 12th house, it really does feel like you're like using words as power. And you're using your words to influence the people around you. And it's almost like you recognize that words for yourself are incredibly powerful. The words that you say to yourself are incredibly powerful. So if you're going to take away anything from this reading, Aries, let it be that paying attention to your words around this time and making sure that whatever words that you're telling to yourself, whatever words you're telling to other people will parrot back to you in the spiritual energy around you. So I always hear the spiritual community that words are spells, and they are, because that just everything that we do, say, our thoughts and intentions, it generates energy. As somebody who senses energy, as somebody who feels energy, I can share this. Like when I when I served at AmeriCorps and I had to give an oath, as soon as I finished my oath, when I tell you, I felt spiritually the energy. It felt so, I don't know, I couldn't describe it, but it definitely shifted something spiritually. And I was like, oh, snap. It felt like a binding commitment of sorts, like when you say oaths. And it's different when you feel it. It's different when you feel it spiritually, because you're like, oh, snap. And you can feel how the energy moves around you when you say certain things. And a lot of us aren't aware of that. But if you tune in a little bit more inside, you can feel it in your emotions first when you use words. But when you start becoming more in tune spiritually and you start sensing more and more things, you start to notice how your words and other people's words create like this cloud of energy around you. And it causes you to attract things. It's a law of attraction, right? So when you actually start to feel that, I feel it through clairsentience. Other people might sense it differently. But just know that that's a thing, and that can affect you. So that's the most important thing to take away from this reading, if you're going to take anything away at all. But again, leader energy, leading a project, planning for things long term, and just kind of hoping for the best, and keeping your huge dreams to yourself, but being that leader and saying like, this works because it's a good plan. That's the kind of energy that I feel like I'm engaging with. This works because it's a good plan. So I'm getting like Spirit's also saying like, watch and wait and see how other people are gonna follow you, or see how the energy of creation attracts to you and how other opportunities open up. I love you. All right, what else do we have for Aries? We have, I saw this card in my mind before I flipped it over. That was wild. Okay. Unfinished Symphony. So for some of you, this is an unfinished project. This is something, I just heard, like, you've been laying back and you've been kicking it for a while. Maybe this is a project that you've wanted to start, but you've had it on the back burner. I'm feeling back burner stuff, back burner energy. So Spirit's like, this is the time to kick it in gear. It's not like you've been wrong this whole time about letting it sit there, and maybe you've been feeling restless to get started on this or get moving on it. But Spirit's like, you know what? We're recognizing that this is an unfinished thing, and to now is the time for action. Again, you have like a lot of wands here. You have the 2 of Wands, Page of Wands, the 6 of Wands, your 9 of Wands. I mean, like, wands are action. Wands is action. Wands is creation. It is very, if I'm going to relate it to any type of energy, I would say it's yang. It is go, do, create. It is the passion behind it. So there's a card that flipped here. Which card flipped? Ah, here we go. And somehow this deck is upside down, sorry. Higher power. So connecting with your higher power, I just heard, let us guide you. So maybe you've been getting signs and you haven't really been paying attention. Or spirits, like maybe you have been paying attention, you've been noticing more signs. Spirits like, hey, hello, I'm here. So following your higher power and understanding that while you are here on earth, you have a higher self, or like there's only part of ourselves here on earth. The rest of our soul is up. Like, I wouldn't say up, it's around, it's here, it works through you. So just know that whatever moves you're making, like, you feel called to make these moves for a reason. So you're being guided. You don't need to sense things in a strong or external way. You don't need to feel anything strongly through your body. You don't need to have strong clair abilities. You don't need to be you just need to try to be in tune with yourself and pay attention to what you feel, because a lot of times our path is associated with how we're feeling, and what draws us inspiration, what lights us up, that's usually the path or one of the paths that we can take in this lifetime. So just understand that you can't really make a wrong choice, because Spirit's working for you or with you either way. They're working with you, not for you, but Spirit's working with you either way, and that there's no right or wrong here. Like, it's okay to take a break when you need it. It's okay to challenge yourself and challenge how you've lived before, but don't judge the way that you've lived before. Don't judge the way that you've talked to yourself before, because again, we're here, we're growing, and judging honestly is a waste of energy. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your energy. Just don't do it. Focus on your growth, because there are plenty of people just, and I mean, I wouldn't even compare, because again, we're all on our own journey, and I don't think even if you chose to sit around and do nothing for the rest of your life and not service humanity and not service yourself, that was still a lifetime where you learned something. Even if you look back, I know a lot of times I'll hear stories about people who connected to the other side, and then they'll hear the spirit that passed over, and they'll go, damn it, I wish I did that different, or man, I wished I did more with my life. And it's not even so much as I wish I did more in terms of I wish I achieved more, I wish I was more productive. It's more I wish I did more that lit me up, or I wish I could have just lived happily. Instead of worrying about X, Y, and Z. So everybody's on their own journey. Everyone's looking for something different. So it's a big part of this is just trusting that you're on the path and not judging yourself too harshly for having this project unfinished. And what did I just say about action? Literally, spirits, I said what I said, and I meant it, because we have take charge and action. So this is from one of Kyle Gray's decks, the Angel Guide, I believe. And this one is literally just that. It's the angel of action. Just do it. If that was summed up in just a phrase, just do it. I said it. I feel like I don't need to repeat it. But the angels are there with you. So this actually says that the angels of action are with you, and they are helping promote that change. So oftentimes when I feel the angels of action, I either feel a strong inspiration and a passionate energy towards something, and I'm like, oh, I have to do this now or I'm going to lose it. And I'll feel varying degrees of that, or I'll feel restless. And some people can't identify their restlessness and why they feel it. They feel restlessness towards something in particular, and it's because Spirit's do it. Your higher self is do it. They want you to take action and do it. So we're going to pull one more card from the Enchanted map, decked by Colette Baron-Reid, and then we are going to roll some angel dice for you to finish out our new moon reading. You have Sad Embrace. I always go with this card, because this comes up when I have grief to channel through and pull some healing out of. And this relates to the 12th house that we talked about. You are someone that understands the duality of the 12th house, that through the darkness can come immense and profound healing. Sad Embrace tells us that it's important to sit with it, to acknowledge it, to understand it. Archangel Haniel is coming to mind. If you connect with archangels, I strongly recommend connecting with Archangel Haniel, because she can help you connect with your emotions. She can help you process them. She can help you process your grief. There are also other archangels. I think Archangel Azrael is the angel of transition. So between life and death, if you're somebody who is struggling with the grief through the loss of a loved one or a pet, for some of you, you could be grieving the loss of a situation. This keeps coming up in my readings, so if you keep visiting my readings and you keep hearing this message, then, start doing something. So something about processing your grief, sitting with it. It's okay if you're not there yet, but just taking some time to honor that it's there, recognize that it's there, and not push it away. I know oftentimes we want to turn a blind eye to it. We want to just completely shut it out, turn it away. I'm really feeling the energy of just allowing yourself to be held by yourself, by the divine, because they're also, I just see angels like around you, like with their wings, just holding you. So some of you could be processing your grief. For some of you, I'm hearing grief over your like loss of identity too. Like if you're stepping out of a situation, and again, like with this Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups is moving on. The Eight of Cups is moving on from something. You are moving on from either a situation, you are moving on from like an old life that you used to lead, you are either transforming into a new person, or you're saying goodbye to somebody or someone. So just know that, you know, taking the time to cry about it, taking the time to embrace yourself and to heal is incredibly important. And this is why the Empress is also in your challenge position. So like I said, that's the self-care. That's one of the self-care things you have to do, is making sure that you are recognizing it, sitting in it, and processing it. And the big part of processing, I know we throw that word around a lot, processing is literally just feel it. Just feel it, acknowledge it, and is working on accepting the fact that you feel it and accepting the circumstances. And it takes time. So give yourself time, give yourself patience. That's the best thing you can do for yourself right now when it comes to that. Okay, 3, 5, 4 from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. I always read these messages twice. Your angels are supporting you as you make your way through the shifts that are occurring at this time. Stay focused on the light and never let anything dull your sparkle. One more time, your angels are supporting you as you make your way through the shifts that are occurring at this time. Stay focused on the light and never let anything dull your sparkle. I just said angels were caressing you as you processed your grief and while you were letting things go. So again, this is getting to that point in the reading where I said what I said and I meant it. So, that being said, Aries, that was your new moon in Pisces reading. If this resonated with you in any way, go ahead, like it, subscribe, all the things. Maybe leave a comment down below and tell me how it resonated with you. That way I know to, I can connect with you and I can do more of these videos. So, that being said, I look forward to the collective readings that I'll be posting over the next week. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!